Live from the French Quarter, this is Eyewitness Morning News.
Right now at 7:45, it's National Adoption Month, and there are a couple of great organizations working in the metro area to find good homes for children. And this morning, we're very happy to have Dana Cousins, the Director of Adoption Services for Catholic Charities, and Lori Arceneaux North from Volunteers of America here to tell us about what their organizations are doing. And we are very happy to have you here. We often talk about the state adoption service, but we want to hear about what your agencies have to offer. I'll start with you, Lori.
Sure. Well, Volunteers of America has been a licensed adoption agency in New Orleans for over 70 years, and we practice openness in adoption, meaning that an expectant mother considering adoption can not only pick the family for her child, but she can meet them and make a plan for follow-up contact. And then we also work with married couples experiencing infertility who wish to adopt in order to create their families.
So you work exclusively with infants, trying to match infants to families.
Correct, yes.
And tell us about your organization, Dana.
Catholic Charities Archdiocese of New Orleans has been working with adoptions in the city since the early 1900s. And very similar to what Lori shared, we work with infants and families that are typically experiencing infertility, working with expectant parents that would like to consider adoption for their child.
And the situation with your agencies is different from the state situation where you have children who are waiting to be adopted. In your case, you actually have waiting list of parents waiting to adopt an infant.
Right, that's true. There's obviously more interest from families wanting to adopt an infant, because for most families who've experienced infertility, they want to start with an infant, a newborn, and raise that child through their whole life. And so we often have many more families interested in adopting than we do women who consider adoption. And so we want women to know who are facing an unplanned pregnancy. It's often a scary and overwhelming time, and we want them to know that there are options and there's help that we can provide to help them make the best decisions.
Now, what is the process? We'll start with Catholic Charities. What's the process for adopting through Catholic Charities?
There's an application time, and actually our application questionnaire information time is now during the months of November and December. Interested applicants can call and request an information packet and a questionnaire and an interview process. For families that decide to move forward with the program, there's a home study process. And the home study is a series of interviews, paperwork, personal references, medicals, and from there the family's approved for adoption placement.
And as you were saying, the expectant mother actually chooses the family.
She does. Adoption's changed so much over the last 70 years that we practice adoption, back from a closed system years ago where women went to a maternity home and that sort of thing, whereas now there's a lot more opportunity for information exchange and for women to be empowered to make the decisions for themselves of who best they should raise their child.
And discuss a little bit more about the Volunteers of America process for adoption.
Sure. We accept applications from families on an ongoing basis throughout the year, and we accept a few new families in through different points of the year as we have placements occur. And so if families are interested in learning more about our services, they can contact us, or they can also visit our website for more information, and we'd be glad to help them.
And Dana, co-parenting, this is not a co-parenting situation. Open adoption. Describe what happens in an open adoption.
Yeah, it's different for each family and for each expectant parent or birth parent. It has to be what's right for the child, and we work with families to educate them, both birth and adoptive families, to educate them on what's going to be best for the child. It's not about co-parenting. It's about different individuals who love a child more than anyone can imagine, and they want to do what's best for the child, but have ongoing contact to know that this child is doing well, how this child is growing, so that this child also has an understanding of their adoption. What is their birth story? Any questions they may have, they're able to find those answers.
And what are the costs associated with adopting through your agencies?
Adoption costs can range anywhere between $10,000 and $30,000.
Really?
Both domestic and international adoption.
And so you deal with the international adoptions as well?
We do, for home studies and post-placement services.
And the cost?
For ours, it's pretty similar to Catholic Charities, anywhere from $10,000 to about $28,000. our services are free to the expectant parents, and so the services that we provide to them, the counseling, and oftentimes we have to provide some support throughout the pregnancy and that sort of thing. So being a nonprofit agency, those funds help us to provide the services we do to everyone involved in the adoption process.
Well, I thank you very much, Lori and Dana, for being here to talk about your agencies and what you have to offer. And you're placing children in loving families, and that's what it's all about. And you have to say to the mothers who are giving their children, this is the most selfless act that a mother can give, putting the child's care first. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for more information about these organizations, you can log on to WWL-TV.com and click on links on 4.